Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for joining again.
Yes, as we always say, we always love doing this. And Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon.
That's good to hear. And Mom, what are we speaking about here today?
Today we're going to tackle a movie. It is our Monday movie day, and so today we're going to talk about Groundhog Day because that day just passed for us in February.
Yes, and we are looking forward to speaking about it. And Mom, you can go ahead and get us started.
Alrighty. This particular movie came out in 1993, and it's about a weather forecaster named Phil, and he goes to see the true groundhog in Pennsylvania. And so on his while he is there with his news team, Phil does presents the information online on air. However, on the next day, we find out that he ends up repeating the same day again. So basically, this is a movie about a newscaster who keeps repeating the same day over and over and over again. And so that is the premise of Groundhog Day.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and for me, this is my first time watching it, but have you seen this movie before?
Yes, I actually saw it in a movie theater when it came out. And so, yes, but I think I've only seen it that one time. It may have been on TV and I caught a minute or two, but for the most part, the only time I've seen it all the way through was when it came out.
And did you remember it?
I did remember it. And I did remember it, and I will say this, I did like it. Brandon, what about you?
Oh yes, I definitely did enjoy it. Especially more than I thought I would, only because, you know, now that the movie's been out for quite a while, that of course there's so many different parodies, of it and of just the time loop concept in general. But yeah, I definitely did enjoy it though.
Okay, good. I'm so glad you did, Brandon. I never know when I suggest movies if it'll be one that you'll like. I kind of hope that you would like this one.
Yes, I did enjoy it.
Okay, good, good, good. And what surprised you about the movie?
What surprised me is the different variations that Phil, the person, not the groundhog, decide to do with his loops. And
Mhm.
so we saw the first few ones where it's like, okay, am I dreaming? Am I just going through this over and over? But I like that he decided to add meaning to it. That but towards the end, that he decided to even start helping others and learn more about himself and continue with his personal progression, which I thought was really enjoyable. I know from the beginning of the film, I was like, okay, are we just going to do the same thing over and over? You know, uh, again, but I like that they were able to change it up and not. And I don't think there was any time in watching it that I felt that it was slow per se. That I thought they divvied it up in the way that they should.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they did a really nice job. I did not fall asleep on the movie, which is a good thing. And so I thought the producers or writers did a great job of creating the story, and to and then make you think at the same time. Somewhere along the lines, he said, "What happens if you don't have consequences?" And so they kind of showed different ways in which he could have let led his life. But then what's interesting is even though he relived his life over and over again, he was able to build on what he did. But the others, of course, had no idea because for them it was a new day. So it was interesting to see what he decided to build upon for himself and how that led him to the end. And then also to find out that sometimes that even though he was living a new day, it didn't matter what he did. The consequences were still going to be the same. So it was interesting to see what takes, that he did have, what he did during each of his days and how that led to some positive things happening.
Yeah, and one of the things I thought was actually interesting was from the way that the movie describes itself for the most part, up until about three-thirds of the way through the movie, is that I thought he could not leave the actual day Groundhog's Day, but in reality, it was more of a things reset at some point in time or another before 6 p.m. at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. That at 6 a.m., everything just kind of reset itself. So no matter where he was and what he was doing, it just reset at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because we did see one time where he stayed up past midnight, where he'd actually made it to the next day before ultimately being reset again.
Yes, and then he was with a friend at some point, and that he told this was happening to, and she kind of thought things would happen, reset again at midnight also.
Yeah, and what I did find interesting too is that uh, there were a couple times where a character would have deja vu, but they don't remember anything, but they still have that feeling though.
Yes, yeah, very true.
Was there anything that stood out for you the second time around?
There wasn't anything. Well, the only thing that stood out for me, and I think your dad mentioned this, that I never picked up on the first time, was the song. There was a song that repeated over and over again. Was "I Got You, Babe." And so when he came out of reliving this day after day after day, this particular song that he referred to kind of ended up referring to his woman friend that he found. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that the "I Got You, Babe" actually has some significance in it a little later in the movie.
Yeah, and that was something that until he said that I never had thought about that.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it either. And so for me, when you asked the question of what I didn't pick up on, that was the one thing I did not pick up on.
Yeah, and so I definitely, like I said, enjoyed the movie and watching it for the first time, and I would say that for me, I mean, we are definitely TV people and not as much movie people, but I will say that for once, I actually got like immersed into the movie. Like I really felt the what the movie was trying to do, and I guess the message it was trying to convey. And I like that even the skills that he's learned and the information he learned through each loop stuck with him.
Hmm. Yeah, I did too. I did too. And I know we're comedy people, so it was nice because it was a comedy for the most part, and so it was good to watch something for the most part lighthearted.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yes. Yeah. And so, Brandon, once more, I am starting to rate these movies and TV shows from 1 through 5, 5 being the greatest. And this one I gave a 3.5. Like I said, not the best movie ever made, but it is not the worst movie ever made, and it will make you smile. And what about you, Brand?
Oh, I would 100% agree with that. I mean, I feel that it hit that sweet spot. I mean, it wasn't maybe the best movie. Would I watch it again? Maybe if it's on.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, and it's the only movie that I could think of, and I'm sure others in the comments will let me know there are others out there that actually had to deal with Groundhog Day. And so and we were looking for something holiday-ish around that time period, and so I thought this was the perfect fit for it.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yes, sorry you guys are seeing it 2 weeks later, but but yes. And so, Brand, do you have anything else to say about this movie?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't really know if I have much else to say, about the movie. I definitely, like I said, enjoyed it more than I thought, and I think one of the fun parts about this movie was, like I said, truly him learning about himself, and that I just really enjoyed it when he was able to sort of come to that realization that, yeah, if I can do this day over and over and over again, if I have to do this, what would what is it that would satisfy me?
Yes, yeah. And so, just so the audience will know, this movie starred Bill Murray, Chris Elliott, and Andy McDowell. Those were kind of the main characters in the movie. And for the most part, those were the three characters that this movie focused on. And so, I said once more, we thank you guys for watching today, and we will see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, bye bye, everybody.